John, I think today we'll break new ground in the realm of Vikings coverage and discussion. I think we'll talk about quarterbacks.
Well, I mean, that's what we have come to kind of let our audience know, is that we are willing to go where no one else is willing to go. And so to kick this off with quarterbacks is something completely dangerous, avant-garde podcasting, I think is the way I would describe it. And so buckle up, folks. This is going to be a hot one.
Courageous is the word I would use for this podcast. Hey, this is the Viking Update Show. He's John Krawczynski from The Athletic. I'm Jim Souhan from the Star Tribune. We're coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services Studios. We're presented to you by Giggly THC Beverages. Got my new variety pack I just ordered online here today, just got delivered. And On X Hunt, we'll tell you more about them in the coming minutes. We do want to thank Aquarius Home Services.
That first sip of coffee on a summer morning. Sunshine. Caffeine. What's better? How about water so good it makes your coffee jealous? Water from Aquarius, your authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Enjoy sparkling dishes, cloud soft laundry, and worry-free water from every faucet. Likely for less than your daily iced coffee. Enjoy up to 25% off a new Connecticut system and schedule your free water analysis at AquariusHomeservices.com. Aquarius, earning the right to be recommended.
Hi, everyone. This is Dawn Mitchell with a reminder. Please tune in to our podcast every week, Dawn of Sports. You can find it on Talk North Podcast Network.
All right. Actually, before we get to the quarterbacks, because we're going to talk a lot about the quarterbacks, and by quarterbacks, I mean J.J. McCarthy and Kirk Cousins. I've spent a lot of time writing about Byron Buxton the last week. He's doing amazing things. One of the fastest players in baseball, best center fielder, one of the best power hitters. He's beating out ground balls to short, and then he's hitting the ball 450 feet. He had the first cycle of his career, the first cycle in Target Field history the other day. Who's the best athlete in town? You cover Anthony Edwards. There's some great, obviously NBA players are great athletes, NFL players are great athletes. But is it possible that Buxton is the best athlete in town?
I mean, it's certainly possible, Jim. I mean, you and I have been here ever since Buxton was like this sort of mythical figure in the minor leagues. And it's wonderful to see him kind of fully realizing that potential and that hope that he had put into people, just given all the injuries and things. But I mean, I think it's possible. I guess maybe the bias in me, I'll probably lean Ant, just because I've seen him do so many amazing things. And he hasn't dealt with the injuries that Buxton has, but Buxton is so fast. He has a good arm. And I think the hardest thing to do in professional sports is to hit a baseball, to hit a slider. So, it's incredible what he is doing. And that hand-eye coordination and all the things that go into that. He's amazing. I would lean Ant, but I mean, he's definitely right in the mix. And if you're in the conversation with Anthony Edwards, that's saying a heck of a lot.
Yeah, I look at him, and Edwards is impressive, and Edwards is obviously taller, thicker. Buxton is one of the most ripped, athletic-looking people I've ever seen. He looks athletic in his jersey. You see him with his shirt off. I mean, his 12 pack has a 12 pack. He's just pure. So Buxton's faster. Edwards is bigger, taller. Edwards is thicker. Edwards is a better leaper. Edwards plays a more athletic game in general, but Buxton's one of the rare people in baseball who have all the tools. He threw 100-mile-an-hour fastballs in high school. Right now, he's objectively rated as the second fastest player in baseball. He's the best center fielder. He's one of the best power hitters right now. I think you could pick either one and make the argument. And I think we've gotten beyond the era of talk sports radio where you had to say A and I had to say B, and we had to scream at each other about it. I could see either argument. And I also think that so Justin Jefferson is a great football player.
Yeah.
Historically great receiver, incredible body control, incredible coordination, hand-eye coordination, but he's not as big or stronger as either Ant or Buxton.
Or as fast. I mean, Jefferson is remarkable in everything, in so many things. And he is fast, but speed is not what defines his game. And so you can be athletic and not be fast. But I think that if you line the three of them up in a foot race, I think that Jefferson would lose. And that's, maybe not even an indictment given who he would be going against. But, yeah, I think that, I'm trying to think of who else on the Vikings would be in that mix of, best athlete. One of the corners, maybe. I'm just trying to think of guys like, they have some good players at corner. I don't know that any of them are just superior athletes. Right. Yeah.
Young Harrison Smith was pretty impressive, but probably not straight line speed as impressive as these guys, but he could do everything. Grenard is, one of those, edge rushers are pretty magical mammals. He is big, strong, fast, can beat tackles, he can outrun tackles. He can out-muscle running backs and tight ends. They are remarkable. But I just don't know that. I do think that Edwards and Buxton are in a different category.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I guess, the way that if I were to break the tie, I was telling someone this the other day, when the Wolves played Dallas in the playoffs, Micah Parsons from the Cowboys came to see Anthony Edwards after the game. They took a picture together, and Ant was bigger than Micah Parsons.
Right.
And that's I do think people don't realize with NBA players, because they're all big and they all are next to each other, how massive these dudes are. And Buxton is, like you said, put together. Ant is massive, and he still moves the way that he does. It's incredible. But yes, if you put them in a decathlon, the two of them together, that would be a heck of a competition.
It would be something else. And Buxton does track workouts in the offseason. He's built to run as fast as possible. It's great stuff. It's great stuff to watch. And they are both just, both. Buxton has the injuries. Anthony Edwards is still trying to prove he's a top 5 player in the NBA, which is a high bar. But man, we should also appreciate what we're seeing on a daily basis with both.
No doubt.
I want to tell you about Giggly THC Beverages, GIGLI.com. Promo code Giggly North will get you up to 50% off your first order. After that, if you follow Giggly on social media, you'll get more promo codes. They always give you a good deal. This is the variety pack. This is my wife. Basically, I order the variety packs. My wife orders the iced tea, lemon iced teas. It tastes like Arnold Palmer's. My wife never liked THC beverages. She never liked any of the other, kind of supposedly healthier alcoholic prepackaged beverages. She loves Giggly. I love Giggly. I never thought I'd be sitting around drinking THC beverages at night. It's what I do. I love not getting hungover. You can find these at every Quick Trip in Minnesota. You can also order them at giggly.com. Remember the promo code. They are available in more and more places, but it's just so easy to order it, and they just deliver it, and you just pop it in the fridge and it's ready to go. It's just a pleasure. If you read the side of the variety pack, if you read the nutrition information, this stuff has ginseng, ashwagandha. It's low calorie. It's got 0 trans fats. I think 1% of your daily fat. It's low sugar. It's even got a little protein in it. It's amazing how good this is for you. Giggly.com. And again, promo code Giggly North. I also want to let you know that the weather has warmed up, and that means it's time to put your augers away and grab the boat. Let Onyx Fish help you find the next best bite. The Fish app offers the most comprehensive fishing tool for increasing your success. Use the Fish app to find new places to fish and sort lakes by species, abundance, trophy, and keeper potential. Onyx Fish also shows you hot spots, lake by lake regulations, and private and public land ownership information. Download Onyx Fish on the App Store or go to onyxmaps.com/fish to get more information about the app that is changing the game. All right, let's get to Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins saying that he felt a little misled. On a very surface level, of course. Easy to understand. Get a little deeper into thinking about this, and I just think that Kirk Cousins played the game of maximizing his income until he got to a point where he overestimated his value to an NFL franchise. And also I think it's easy to rip on teams, and the Falcons have been punching bags ever since they spent all the money in Cousins and drafted Penix. But if you're Kirk Cousins, somebody has to be able to tell you at some point, hey, there's the potential that you're going to get beat out at one of these places. There's the potential that you're not going to be, you're not the best quarterback in the NFL. You're probably not a top 12 quarterback. Your job security, when you take a big money job, that doesn't guarantee you remaining a starter. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, listening to him, go through his experience and share what he saw. And that one thing, first of all, I'm really glad that quarterback brought him back again, because I was thinking during this whole saga that he will share what he thinks. He's not going to, I don't think he's going to sugarcoat it or do the politically correct thing or be boring that way. I figured that he would. And so I'm glad that he did it. Because this is exactly what he thinks, and he was candid about it. So good. That's great. But one thing that we got to know about Kirk when he was here is he does try to portray himself as an everyman, as kind of this, grassroots, blue collar, normal guy. And in some ways he is that, but there certainly is an ego there that is substantial, and there's a stubbornness and a belief in himself, and maybe even a little insecurity there as well. And so I do think that in addition to the money that Atlanta offered, Kirk knew in Minnesota that his days were numbered, and that whether he was going to get one more year or not, it was coming to an end. And I think that he thought it was going to be difficult to play that next season when the Vikings drafted a player to be developed and, behind him. One of the reasons I think that the Vikings had guys like Nick Mullins behind Kirk Cousins was they wanted to make sure that there was no sort of threat to him. In addition, because the money he's making, you got to spend cheaply there. So when he went to Atlanta, he got this amazing contract, of course, and it was a lot about the money. But I also do think that he naively believed that if they're giving me all this money, I'm going to have this job all to myself. And so, whether the Falcons were duplicitous or underhanded in, eventually drafting Michael Penix, I'm not sure, but it is clear that he never wanted to be in that position at that point in time where there was someone challenging his throne. And when that happened, everything kind of, the air came out of the balloon. And so, yeah, I think it was a combination of naivete and sort of hubris that here's a team willing to give me all this money, so they're going to give me the job as well. And when that didn't happen, that's just that was always going to mess with Kirk Cousins. He was never going to be somebody who would be like, "Nope, all right, I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to be the best guy, and I'm going to show them." That kind of move really was going to mess with his head, and that was why it was good that the Vikings decided to move on and just go clean that way. And it worked out that way. And Cousins did not hang around last year with McCarthy. I think Sam Darnold did a much better job of handling that situation than Kirk Cousins would have.
No doubt about it. Let me revisit what I was trying to say earlier. I'm not sure I said it right or clearly, but you and I both have covered professional sports teams for a very long time. And we you get to understand why they don't say certain things publicly. The idea that the Falcons during negotiations with Kirk Cousins should have said, oh, and by the way, we might draft a quarterback in the first round. Teams can't do that.
Right.
They can't, okay, let's play it out. The Falcons tell Cousins during negotiations, oh, we also might take Michael Penix in the first round. Okay, well, you just blew your chance to sign to Kirk Cousins. He's not going to come there if he thinks you're going to draft a quarterback in the first round. Second of all, you don't know that you're going to get Penix. The draft is unpredictable. They didn't have a top 5 pick. They didn't know who they were going to get or if they're going to get a quarterback. They can't blow up their own plans by signaling to Cousins that they might be willing to replace him a year into his contract. Or, the big surprise is that he played poorly enough in the middle of last season. For whatever reason, they replaced him in the middle of the season. Teams just can't do that.
Right. They can't. One rebuttal I would say to that is, if I'm Cousins, and what I don't know, and I don't think we know, is in the sort of the pitching of him and the recruiting of him, if they were all the way like, Kirk, you are our guy. We believe in you. You're going to be our guy for the next 3 years. That's why we're giving you this money, is we believe in you, and that's going to be it. If they did it that way and didn't at least leave open, hey, Kirk, you're coming off an Achilles. We have to look at the long term as well, and we'll evaluate that as it goes along, or leave something open. Then I do think I can see why Cousins was like, what the heck is going on here? Like, you told me all of this, and then this happened. I don't think that you have to put the draft board in front of him. I don't think that you have to say, hey, yes, we are really considering a quarterback in the first round, or anything like that. But if they were much more sort of enthusiastic about Cousins and like, look, man, here's all of this guaranteed money. You're our guy. Like, we believe in you, and we'll deal with, kind of the future, maybe next year or the year after that, and look forward. That's where I could see him being like, well, this is not what I signed up for. But he should have understood that coming off of an Achilles at his age, that it shouldn't be a major surprise that an organization would try to have contingency plans in place should things not go well. And so I think that was a mistake on Cousins' part. Even if the Falcons were a little slick about, what their intentions were and what they were going to do, or what they were looking to do in the draft.
The other thing is, if Cousins had played well, he would have kept the job.
Right. And I think it's as big of an event. Like, I'll say this, like, if you were going to really go after Penix hard, why in the heck would you give Cousins all that money? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, so from that aspect of things, I could see Cousins kind of assuming, well, geez, they gave me all of this money. Of course I'm the guy. And then you're going to do that and then go draft someone right away. It was just like, that seemed to be bad roster management. If you're like looking at it, sign someone on the level of Sam Darnold, sign a 1 year, $15 million a year guy. Like, if that's the way you want to operate that kind of the position and work it that way. And if you really want to look at young guys, I thought that was just incredible mismanagement by the Falcons. But, but also, yes, I do think that Cousins very much was naive about it. And yeah, he has himself to blame, essentially. If he would have played better, if he would have been healthier, if he would have just put a stranglehold on the position, he would have played the entire season. There's no question about it.
All right, now let's get to McCarthy, kind of previewing training camp. We're going to be talking a lot about training camp coming up. It's starting here very soon. Want to tell you about my friend Scott Dayton and his shop Twill in the Oneida Galleria. Love this place. Just got an email. I signed up for their email alerts. You can never tell what shows up on these screens. But they're having their summer clearance sale. They don't have many sales. And this is not a discount store. You go in, the prices are reasonable for what you're getting, but it's not a cheap place. This is a rare chance to go buy like a Mercedes 40% off. This is stuff that, I wear all the time. I was just on vacation. I wore Twill. I'm wearing Twill right now. This is a Johnny O hat. It's a Johnny O golf shirt. And I just love the athletic fabric. Everything from my nicest suits to my golf shorts, it's this modern comfortable fabric, whether it's Peter Millar or Johnny O or Barraquette or, whatever. The stuff just wears so well. This is a rare chance to get significant discount. 40% off seasonal items, their summer clearance sale. And when you go in there, you realize it's just a really pleasant place to shop. They have an amazing array, but it's not overwhelming. The service people, the people who run the shop are just relaxed, incredibly knowledgeable. They are experts at this. These are not people working in a department store. They are experts at what they do. Scott handpicks the brands he brings in. Highly recommend. This is the best time of the year. It's hot out. Go to the air conditioning at the United Galleria. Take advantage of a rare sale, 40% off clearance. You'll find something you like. All I wear is twill stuff these days. Also want you to hear from Talk North star Michael Russo for Clamshell Beach Resorts.
Hey, have you been dreaming of a lake cabin lifestyle with boating, fishing, and family fun in northern Minnesota? Well, lately I've thought a lot about how cool it would be to have a getaway like so many Minnesotans. And if you're like me, you probably think that owning your own lakeside getaway is beyond your budget. Well, if you think lake cabin real estate prices keep going up, well, think again. This is Russo, and I'm here to tell you there is an affordable way to enjoy a cabin lifestyle and all that goes with it. And yes, I said affordable. I founded a Clamshell Beach Resort, which is located on the Whitefish chain of 14 lakes for you and your family to enjoy. Here's how. Clamshell has lake homes that offer deeded fractional ownership, and the keywords there are deeded and fractional. You own it. Imagine having 5 weeks a year to enjoy Clamshell with its beaches, pool, and lodge that's full of kids' activities. Is golf your game? There's a great golf course right across the road. Like winter sports? Well, you can go ice fishing, cross-country skiing, or snowmobiling right out the door at Clamshell. And there's no maintenance, no grass mowing, no snow removal. It's done all for you. And you can own a share of Clamshell Beach Resort at an affordable price. To learn more about ownership opportunities at Clamshell Beach Resort, go to cottagesonwhitefish.com or contact Pat Egan at 612-220-9819. That's cottagesonwhitefish.com or Pat Egan at 612-220-9819.
And, once again, I don't know what, this stuff doesn't seem to show up well on YouTube, but, this is one of the balms I use. I got from Natrium, natrium.com. They have the mothership store in St. Louis Park. You can also order at natrium.com. Use the promo code TALKNORTH15 to get 15% off. I use balms for sore joints and muscles. I use gummies if I need to sleep or relax. They have oils for gut health. They have drinks and candies and gummies for fun. They have dips. They have an amazing variety. You're going to want to go to the shop, check it out if you can, and find out from the sales professional what's going to fit you, whether it's THC, CBD, combination, flavors, delivery system. Once you know what you like, use the promo code TALKNORTH15 to order at natrium.com, Natreum. I highly recommend it. All right, so before we get to McCarthy and training camp, I think it's a long shot, but Jeff Diamond, one of our football experts at TalkNorth.com, has said it could be a possibility. What if the Vikings had a chance to bring Cousins back on a reasonable deal with the Falcons eating some salary, not having to give up much of an asset? Would you want him as a backup? Would that work at all?
I think it could work now. I don't think it would have worked before.
Right.
Cousins, I do believe, needed to be humbled. Needed to have everything laid out as clearly as possible that you are diminished from what you were, and maybe the dream of being a long-term starter, face of the franchise type player is kind of over. And so, I thought that was kind of one of the real compelling moments of the quarterback series that we saw from Cousins was that, basically saying, had he known this was the way it was going to play out in Atlanta, he wouldn't have left. He would have stayed in Minnesota. And I think implicit in that was he would have accepted where it was going. I don't think he accepted at that moment when he left that his days as the man were probably over, coming off of that injury and everything else. So I think that, at this stage, he would be more accepting of this is my lot in life now, and I'll be a good soldier. And So it makes sense in terms of he knows the system, he's had success, and I wouldn't want to rely on him as a starting quarterback for a long time. But if McCarthy's out for 3 or 4 games, that's the litmus test, right? Could he go 2-2 in a 4-game absence? I think he could, probably, with all of the weapons around him, with the coaching, with all those things. So I wouldn't dismiss it, out of hand, but I do think it's incredibly, incredibly unlikely. I think the moves that the Vikings have made at that position behind McCarthy already kind of say that, they're set here. They're good. But if they had to, or, if something crazy happened, I wouldn't mind Cousins with this kind of attitude, with this kind of perspective about where he is. I wouldn't mind him back in that room.
All right, let's get to McCarthy. And let's set the parameters for this discussion. We're going to be talking about McCarthy in a million different ways for a very long time, likely. Parameters for today's discussion. In his first season as a starter, what do you think his ceiling is and what do you think his floor is?
Okay. I think let's see here. I'm trying to think of, I think his ceiling is a player that can do enough to win a playoff game. With everything around him, with all of the opportunities that are available to him, and with his overall skill set, I think he can be a guy. I'm trying to think. I wouldn't say. Why am I blanking on Houston Texans?
Stroud.
Stroud. I wouldn't say he could be quite Stroud, but I think he could be approaching Stroud in terms of good handle, good leadership. Guys believe in him. They rally around him. He has weapons that he can access, and they get into the playoffs and they win a game. The floor for me would be probably maybe like a Caleb Williams rookie year, in terms of he's running around a lot. He's trying to make plays and he makes some mistakes that he shouldn't make, or that you wouldn't want him to make. And that all of a sudden kind of contributes to some losses. But at the end of the season, he put up good numbers. We still want to keep going forward with him. We believe he has a great future, but it didn't quite go as we thought in year one.
I think my ceiling for him this first year would be young Matthew Stafford with a better supporting cast and better coaching. So a guy who can make all the throws, who can make all the plays, who's athletic, but not a true runner, not a run-first guy. Stafford was a very good player. His situation, though, you couldn't tell how good he was because the Alliance were a terrible organization. So he always had a good receiver to throw to, but it wasn't going to be easy for him to win games with that setup. I think his floor, I just have trouble believing he's not going to be at least pretty good. I think with having been coached by Harbaugh, having played in so many big games at Michigan, having had a year to absorb and watch and work with a really good coaching staff, having great talent around him, I just have trouble believing that he's not going to be at least a pretty good quarterback. And it's really fascinating too, because I think ESPN just produced their quarterback rankings going into this year. I mean, Jalen Hurts won one Super Bowl and came within one play of winning another Super Bowl already in a young career, and he's 9th.
Yeah.
There are a lot of good quarterbacks in this league. Baker Mayfield, who lit it up last year, is 10th. Jordan Love isn't even top 10. So it's easy for us to get, listen, I think McCarthy's going to be a good player. It's going to be tough to crack the top 10.
Yeah, for sure. Yes, I think that part for sure. And kind of as I was thinking about it more and as you were talking about it, maybe Jordan Love is the floor in terms of early Jordan Love, where he was good. And they did win a playoff game. But also there were times where it's like good, but not top 10. I have a hard time, I guess, seeing McCarthy just being a complete flameout. I don't foresee him being terrible. I don't foresee him, put it, Jamarcus Russell, like put any of like the top 10 drafted quarterback and how they just look completely overwhelmed and not ready. And that would very much surprise me, not only because of the weapons around him and the infrastructure around him, but I really like him as a player. I think he's a good player. And so I think that what would hold him back to me is just the experience level of it. Just getting in to the games and absorbing the speed of it and understanding and processing and making the decisions and all of those things. But from a physical talent standpoint, from an infrastructure standpoint, all of that it shapes up so well for him that, and the rest of the roster is so talented on both sides of the ball that it just seems like this is a team that is poised to either make a deep run if he kind of comes along quicker, or to just be, a wild card team in the mix for a wild card and, a feisty first round playoff team. Like that's what it feels like. It doesn't feel like there's a huge amount of variance between the two sides.
It is time for this team to win a playoff game. That'll be a big topic to discussion going forward. Hey, check out Jeff Diamond's Vikings NFL Insider with the former Vikings general manager. Jeff does a great job for us. Also, John's colleague Alec Lewis does a podcast for the network now. We also have John on the Timberwolves, his show, the John Krawczynski show. We got Russo, we got Randy Shaver, we got Mark Rosen, we got Don Mitchell. We have a great lineup. Check it out at talknorth.com. We do appreciate it. For today, thanks so much to our sponsors. Thank you for listening and or watching. We do appreciate it. And we'll start talking in depth about training camp next week.